All right, how we doing today? Time for another exciting rendition of uh, Deus Ex. So, as soon as we can get going here, we shall begin. Let me get all my stuff ready here. And begin our broadcast day. Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all are? Y'all all right? Uh, so let us go to the game screen. So we can start up the game. All right. So, left off last night, we had arrived at the ranch where we're looking for Megan. Yeah, we just finished dealing with Burke, and we're right outside. We're all upgraded, mostly everything that we need. Except for, what am I missing? I'm missing here, uh, reduce recoil, which I don't need. I'm stealthy. Uh, the sprinting I don't need because I don't really run that fast. I don't need to run all the time. I guess that's why I'll eventually, I'll upgrade next. Right here, none of this really is for my gameplay style. But I got everything, and I'm loaded with stuff I need. This is the gotta disable this, and this is the map. I think the tower is here. I gotta get here. Oh, that's new. Shows you the level numbers. And we'll eventually make our ways to here. So, let's go take care of these guys here.
CO's here.
He is? How do you know?
Warren told me you saw him talking to the Queen.
I'm sure she was probably barking orders at him again. Someone over
Shut
there!
up,
Maybe time. Gotta remember the code. I need that. Stay. see my my targets now. Two in there, huh?
Hey, I gotta get upstairs to change a frequency. Do you know the code?
Yeah, but I don't have my security chart on me. Left at the barracks.
Mind if I take a look at it?
Feel free, man.
Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding the confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip.
Some of that. I got plenty of that.
Transmits neural impulses directly to innervated tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Tai Yong Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major
Credits? How much credits I got anyway? 10,000.
Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this a breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza. Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Confirms that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Tai Young Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest stories, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Tai Young Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, from
What's the difference between capturing this and capturing that? Yeah?
Access granted. And electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked
Owned by
to
the
a
Chinese.
malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Tai Young Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved chips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan.
You must have done something, Jensen. 4 of our GPL signals just popped up, including yours. Koss, Colvin, Faraday. I'm not picking up Dr. Reed.
Send me the coordinates you do have. And Pritchard, tell Sarif.
I can't. While you were incommunicado, Mr. Darrow invited him, Bill Taggart, and the UN delegates to Panchea. They're halfway to the Arctic by now.
Great.
went down to the thing that I could have. Man, I never knew that before. I could have disabled it from here.
To meet the expected demand. This widespread coming so soon after the recent riots only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip. A device
Access granted.
impulses directly to the population. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Ta Young Medical is scrambling to produce another new improved
Rockets. How many did I get? Ooh, I got 11.
More questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Ta Young Medical is scrambling.
So here we're in the barracks in Omega Ranch,
barracks?
and what we tried to do here was try to retrofit the spec ops into this map, because they were supposed to be in the secret area of Bell Tower in Hengsha that we cut. We talked about it before.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how we wanted to get Bell Tower, how we had the Bell Tower in Upper Hengsha, and we wanted to hide all this information about Namir and his team so you could find it there. And when that got cut, we couldn't do it, so we had to try and find a way to retrofit it. And so that's kind of what this barracks, we put the barracks here at Omega Ranch, but then to hopefully get that information in.
We have a couple of texts, but
we have a couple emails around that refer to the spec ops and refer to and even I think there's something that tells about them in some of the computers, but we basically were running out of time again, and we just kind of ended up not really getting a chance to get them in, sadly.
However, we did get the sense and the feeling that there was pressure from the player. Like when you get in, you actually feel that these guys are there, and you don't really know why they're there yet. So that did work out in our favor.
Yeah, true.
A little bit.
Access granted.
So this is the antenna I was talking about a bit earlier. It is we had a lot of problem actually with the players actually understanding what the antenna was, because we talked about it in the first briefer, but people didn't necessarily make the connection with the visual. So we ended up adding another location where it can be disabled from, and it is from the barracks.
Yeah, because you can go and climb on the ladder itself, the antenna itself, disable it from here.
Yep.
Or go in the barracks, and there's another spot where we
Yes.
can disable it remotely.
And we also had to add a map of the compound inside the barracks, because we couldn't give a window on the antenna. It would allow you to see the antenna from the barracks, but again, for mostly streaming and memory constraint, we had to add an actual map of the compound.
So all that because of T-Bone, right?
Yup.
Nice. Nice.
Access granted.
Unnatural copulation with farm animals.
Someone hiding over there. Over there! Stop!
I mean 20. Mix 4 and 1.
Let me break this down. On one hand, you have Panchaea in the Arctic, which on the surface is designed to stop global.
Access granted.
Ooh, give me some more of those. Better than not breaking shit with your fat asses. Yeah, give me a lot of those, man. All right. Got 8. Name your computer codes very well. Yeah, what a bitch. Tex-Mex. Is it an elevator? So the elevator goes down, up or down? I guess it goes down, huh? Yeah.
So this part of Omega Ranch was supposed to be where we wanted to kind of show all the atrocities that, the experiments that were done on humans, and in terms of, the advancement of transhumanism and stuff like that, and biotech technologies. Sadly, though, it's not really present, like all the crazy ideas. We had some really horrific things that we wanted to show. Like we had rooms that we literally called the horror rooms. This was the map for that. It was our kind of Silent Hill map, if you want. Now there's the beds. There's people lying in beds and whatnot. But that's pretty much as far as we went for all that.
Yeah, I mean, the map went through several revisions, like we were discussing with Louis Etienne, and by the time it was the time to put the love into it, it was kind of already too late.
Yeah.
So.
But the good news is that we learned from our mistakes, and when we faced the same challenge in The Missing Link, the DLC, we had learned, so we tried a lot harder to make
that happen.
Show there.
Yeah.
So there's good from learning.
I mean, you still feel it. You still know that this is what's going on, but it's just not as strong as what we wanted.
Yeah.
So this morgue is pretty cool, because even though maybe some of the human atrocities didn't come true as much as we wanted in this map, at least once we get to the morgue, we see I guess what we could call a body count type of thing. You know, we see like all these people, all these bodies, all these dead people, covered up with the drapes or whatever you call that. So I think it works really well, and that's where you really start understanding. Oh my God! Like these people were literally cannon fodder, I guess you could say.
They were killed for
they
the sake of
were
science.
killed for the sake of
Guinea
science. They were
pigs.
guinea pigs, exactly.
Access granted.
Angina.
Here's a room that I really like, tying in with the cyber renaissance idea and analogy in the game. So here's an operation room. How do you say that? An operating room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, operating.
An OR.
An OR. Yeah, exactly. Operating room would be like a direct translation of French, I guess. So and the idea is that back in the Renaissance, when they started doing public dissections for other doctors, that's what would happen. They had like these amphitheaters with those kind of steps with all the stairs around them, because at the beginning only very specific doctors and scientists were allowed to do the dissections. They had kind of permits and personal permissions from the kings, so they would go from city to city, and all the doctors would come around to see them do the dissections and just kind of like all be surrounding what's going on and learning from it. So that was the idea here, to kind of make a very modern and tech looking room that still had a bit of that rustic weird amphitheater thing around it.
And the fun little interesting fact for me in this area is that the voice actor who is acting for this character, the scientist, is the same voice actor who plays Wayne Haas in the game, and yet many people probably don't pick up on that because he was very talented and very capable of changing his style up.
You mean he's not whining every character he does?
And the other point is that they're supposed to be working, so how come they're all standing still?
That's a good question.
Do we have an answer to that?
No.
Okay.
Adam? Adam Jensen? Good grief, lad. What the blazes happened to you?
I made the mistake of surviving. I'm here to get you out, Dr. Faraday.
I told Vasily that Sarif wouldn't stop looking.
Sevchenko's dead, Dr. Faraday. I'm sorry.
I figured as much. One day he was just gone, and they wouldn't say why. We were all afraid, so we just kept to the work. They forced me to create a signal pattern that could broadcast software upgrades directly into a person's implanted circuitry.
Upgrades? That do what?
Whatever instructions have been encoded into them. They said it was to improve efficiency at clinics, but that wouldn't be the only application. Far from it.
Really? What about Dr. Reed? Her GPL signal isn't broadcasting. Do you know where she is?
In the secured zone. You'll never get in there. Too many guards.
A distraction might encourage them to leave the area. Say, an incident in one of the labs.
A bold plan, my boy. But one small incident would never be enough.
No, you're right. But 3 simultaneous accidents might.
I like your style, son. And it just might work if you can get Nia and Eric to agree. But timing them to occur at once, that will be the trick.
I'll worry about the timing. For now, sit tight and wait for my signal.
There's one thing you're forgetting, lad. They can track our GPL signals.
I thought as much. But we have no choice.
There may be something. Vasily wanted to upload a virus onto their security network, disable their GPL protocols. Eric or Nia might know more about it.
Any idea who's behind this, Doc? The kidnapping, the facility?
Not really. Remarkable considering I've been here 6 months. You would have thought someone would let something slip. But if it doesn't have to do with the research, you don't get a word out of them.
Sounds like the guards are well trained. But what kind of threats were needed to stop the other researchers from talking?
Well, there were threats early on just to get us to work. Of course, Vasily saw right through that. Kept saying they needed us. I suppose in his case, the risk outstripped the return at some point. Damn them.
Dr. Sevchenko probably knew the risks and accepted them.
That he did. Go on, lad. Let's put this plan of yours into action. It's time to teach these wankers a lesson.
I'm still looking for Dr. Koss. I don't suppose you could point me in the right direction.
Eric showed an amazing bit of courage a few weeks back. Slipped a note into one of the project reports, telling me they've got him locked inside a lab on the 3rd floor of the Microgen building. I suspect, though, they'll have cameras and other security devices protecting it. You'll have to be on your guard, son.
Have you seen Nia Colvin lately? I haven't found her yet.
They've done a good job keeping us all separated, but I suspect she'll be in the Microgen building. There's a skywalk connecting the 2 buildings. If you can find it, you won't have to go back outside.
Gotcha. Just be ready. When you feel your GPL vibrate, set off that distraction.
Understood, lad. But do be careful.
Access granted.
Sniper rifle. Laser rifle. Crossbow. Goodies. You have to kill everybody.
hiding over there. Over there! Out. Move it! Hey, what happened?
Everything's a go.
Everything's a go.
Identify yourself.
Oh well, it's not important anyway, so. I don't. Gotta get upstairs though. Let's go back. I never opened that?
Access granted.
Hey, those are sturdy boxes. There you go.
So the interesting acting bit here is the voice actress who plays Nia Colvin is actually the same actress who plays Dr. Markovic, in the game. She's Lenny Parker, a very flexible and versatile actress, and she's actually got a bit of a fan following on her own because she was a major character, I believe, in the show Earth Final Conflict, and she still gets a lot of fan mail related to that. So,
Is it normal that I don't know that show?
You're just not geek enough.
Okay.
Flexible actress.
Get the hell out. This lab is off limits to you people.
Nice to see you too, Dr. Goldman.
What? Wait a second. I know you. You were Seraph's security guy. Way to protect our asses.
Hey, check the attitude, Doc. I nearly died trying to save you.
Oh, and now you're here to take me back. Well, maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I've got more here than I ever had at Seraph.
Would Vasily Savchenko agree with that? They executed him and dumped his body in a ditch.
That's not true.
Believe it. Unless these murderers have you so brainwashed, you don't mind building their toys.
It wasn't a toy. It was a software upgrade that limits functionalities in a biochip. They told me it was for crowd control. Is Vasily really dead? You saw the body?
What was left of it?
Oh my God. I should have listened to him.
Dr. Colvin, I need to free Megan Reed and get everyone else out of here. It means causing simultaneous accidents in 3 labs.
Declan and Eric. Of course. Interesting idea, Mr. Jensen. Ambitious, but risky. The timing will be critical.
I'll coordinate the attack. But you understand that this could all backfire.
I'm no shrinking violet, Mr. Jensen, but there may be another issue.
The GPL tracker, I know. I also know about the virus Dr. Savchenko developed. The one meant to interfere with their security.
One step ahead. Just like Vasily. It's a good plan. However, I don't have the virus program. Perhaps you should check with Declan or Eric.
Dr. Colvin, I need to know I can trust you. You seemed pretty happy to be here until I told you about Dr. Savchenko.
It's been 6 months, Mr. Jensen. Not long for you, perhaps, but how long can a person live in constant fear? Once they took us out of isolation, it just seemed easier to concentrate on the work.
Did all of you feel that way?
Vasily didn't. Maybe not Declan either, but the work we do here, the discussions, and the theories. I thought Seraph's projects were far-reaching, but the experiments I've seen going on here, it's the kind of stuff DARPA dreams up every day.
Only without governmental oversight keeping you in line.
I suppose I'm just a typical scientist to you, right, Mr. Jensen? Blindly pushing boundaries? No care for who's footing the bill or how our discoveries get made?
We all have to live with ourselves at the end of the day, Dr. Colvin.
You're right, of course. But were things so different in Detroit? We all know where those Seraph contracts came from, don't we? You asked me if you could trust me. You can. But you better get on with this.
I haven't yet located Eric Goss, Dr. Colvin. Do you know where they're keeping him?
He's working in a lab on the 3rd floor. There's an elevator that might get you there. It's on the 2nd floor, though, and I heard the guard say something about that floor being shut off. But then again, with those neuroenhancements of yours, you might find a way to get into it.
I will. In the meantime, stay tuned for the signal. You'll feel a vibration in your GPL. That'll be the time to set off the distraction.
I'll be ready. And I'm sorry about what I said.
virtuosity.
Respond!
Get back here.
So this part of Omega Ranch was supposed to be where we wanted to kind of show all the atrocities that you know, the experiments that were done on humans, and in terms of you know, the advancement of transhumanism and stuff like that, and biotech technologies. Sadly, though, it's not really present. Like all the crazy ideas, we had some really horrific things that we wanted to show. Like we had a room rooms that we literally call the horror rooms. This was the map for that. It was our kind of Silent Hill map, if you want. Yeah, now there's the beds. There's people lying in beds and whatnot. But that's pretty much as far as we went for all that.
Yeah,
I mean, the map went through several revisions, like we were discussing with Louis-Etienne, and by the time it was the time to put the love into it, it was kind of already too late.
Yeah.
So.
But the good news is that we learned from our mistakes, and when we faced the same challenge in The Missing Link, the DLC, we had learned, so we tried a lot harder to make
that happen.
Show there.
Yeah.
So there's good from learning.
I mean, you still feel it. You still know that this is what's going on, you know, but it's just not as strong as what we wanted.
Yeah.
Access denied.
So this part of Omega Ranch was supposed to be where we wanted to kind of show all the atrocities that, the experiments that were done on humans, and in terms of, the advancement of transhumanism and stuff like that, and biotech technologies. Sadly, though, it's not really present, like all the crazy ideas. We had some really horrific things that we wanted to show. Like we had rooms that we literally called the horror rooms. This was the map for that. It was our kind of Silent Hill map, if you want. Now there's the beds. There's people lying in beds and whatnot. But that's pretty much as far as we went for all that.
Yeah,
I mean, the map went through several revisions, like we were discussing with Louis-Etienne.
So this part of Omega Ranch was supposed to be where we wanted to kind of show all the atrocities that, the experiments that were done on humans, and in terms of, the advancement of transhumanism and stuff like that, and biotech technologies. Sadly, though, it's not really present, like all the crazy ideas. We had some really horrific things that we wanted to show. Like we had rooms that we literally called the horror rooms. This was the map for that. It was our kind of Silent Hill map, if you want. Now there's the beds. There's people lying in beds and whatnot. But that's pretty much as far as we went for all that.
Yeah,
I mean, the map went through several revisions, like we were discussing with Louis-Etienne, and by the time it was the time to put the love into it, it was kind of already too late.
Yeah.
So.
But the good news is that we learned from our mistakes, and when we faced the same challenge in The Missing Link, the DLC, we had learned, so we tried a lot harder to make
that happen.
Show there.
Yeah.
So there's good from learning.
I mean, you still feel it. You still know that this is what's going on, you know, but it's just not as strong as what we wanted.
Yeah.
You see that? Door open, but no one came through.
Footstep.
Access granted.
How do I get there? Oh, okay.
Access granted.
Someone hiding over there?
We're working as fast as we can. This pressure you're putting on us doesn't help, you know.
You don't look like the other security people. Did they call you in to deal with the smugglers? I know they've tried to enter the ranch before.
So this doctor, this scientist at Seraph is, again, another good voice actor story, because I'm not sure if you recognize this voice yet, but this is Alex Ivanovich, who also plays Ari Van Bruggen in the game. And again, also, you'll hear him later as some of the crazies in the Omega Ranch.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite characters. I'm glad Mary mentioned earlier that his role as Van Bruggen, we had a hard time casting that, because for me personally, I remember they wanted a Dutch accent, and I did a lot of research, and there wasn't, I don't want to offend any Dutch people, wasn't to say it wasn't interesting, but it wasn't, it didn't really allow us to have fun with the character and give him sort of like a bit of a quirky sort of side, and we liked that he was a hacker and everything, so we kind of said, okay, well, we can't really incorporate the Dutch accent in where it's working for us. So we gave him a bit of free reign, and we gave him, like Mary already mentioned, the Gary Oldman True Romance reference, and he came up with something that was totally original, and we really loved it. He did such an amazing job. My only disappointment is that we didn't have time on the character side to give him a unique character that suited the voice, and instead he ended up being kind of normal looking.
Yeah, and what I love in this is that this scientist is so meek, and so you really feel like my heart goes out to this guy. He's so scared, and he did such a great job.
It shows the
bringing
range that he
life.
has.
But if we come back to those scientists like that, what also for me, like for at least for once, I mean, you have Pritchard that helps Jensen throughout the game, but it's more kind of a psychological help. And now getting the feeling that those scientists are kind of
taking a part
of what you have to do to save Megan and save them.
They're being
eventually.
proactive on saving themselves as opposed to help me, Adam.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you want? I told you people not to barge in here. Wasn't the new biochip design enough?
Dr. Kars, I'm here to get you out.
Jensen? From Seraph? But we were told we'd been written off.
Not exactly.
Listen, Jensen. They forced me to work for them. I didn't want to create the new biochip, especially since it was based on Seraph's research, but they didn't give me a choice.
No one doubts your loyalty, Dr. Kars. Do you know what they plan to do with this new biochip?
I'm not sure. They said something about having Tai Young Medical produce it and distribute it through LIM, but I can't be sure.
I've already been in touch with Colvin and Faraday, and we've come up with a plan. If the three of you set off simultaneous explosions in your labs, it might allow me to access the secured area and find Megan. Then we all get out of here.
Isn't that a little risky? Besides, how will we coordinate these accidents? It's impossible.
Maybe not. But it's that or staying here and eventually ending up like Dr. Sevchenko.
They killed him, didn't they? He kept provoking them, coming up with these wild escape plans. They try to keep us apart as much as possible now. All right, Mr. Jensen. I'm with you. What's our next move?
Listen, Dr. Koss. Dr. Sevchenko had a plan to neutralize the GPL tracker.
Yes, he wanted to upload a viral program onto the security control computer to scramble all of their equipment. He gave me a copy in case anything happened to him. Here, I never had the courage to use it. Besides, we had nowhere to go.
The computer I need to upload this to. Where's it located?
Vasily mentioned a tunnel near the back of the compound. I think it leads to the restricted area's security terminals, but, well, I've never used it myself. I wish I could be more helpful, or even go with you. But...
Dr. Koss, the bioship you mentioned was based on Sarif's studies?
Yes, I believe so. At first I thought it was merely convergent research, but I've worked with Dr. Reed long enough to recognize her handiwork. Besides, I had been working on something similar back in Detroit.
And your knowledge of it made you invaluable here.
At least to a certain extent, it probably helped us all stay alive. But now with Dr. Shevchenko, I guess we've all become expendable. Except for Dr. Reed, I suppose.
Why do you say that?
It's more of a general feeling, I guess. Back in Detroit, we all realized that we were on the verge of something groundbreaking. And here, well, everyone seems to view her research as crucial in some way.
That might explain why she's being held in a secured area.
Possibly. I'm just glad we're going home. It's kind of hard to believe.
Stay put, Dr. Koss. Once I upload this virus, you'll have to do your part. When you feel a vibration from your GPL, that's the signal to set off the explosion.
I'll wait, Mr. Jensen. But hurry.
Just let us do our job, please. There's no need to always be looking
You
over
look
our
like you could
shoulders and
handle
pointing
all
guns
of
at
the
the backs of our
compound
heads.
security on your own. You're probably familiar with some of the projects we're working on, right?
footsteps. Who's there?
Go that way. How do I get there? Gotta go through here?
What a waste of time. See that? Identify yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why don't you see who it is?
Hello? If anyone is hiding here, you'd better come out.
Sounds like you're chasing after ghosts again.
False alarm. We've got a breach.
Someone hiding over there? See that? Identify yourself.
If anyone is hiding here, you'd better come out.
Sounds like you're chasing after ghosts again.
Easy, it was nothing.
So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything. And that with the art and the style of the slab, we could really take advantage of it and create one of the very few zones in the game that have some vertical gameplay. So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything. And that with the art and the style of the slab, we could really take advantage of it and create one of the very few zones in the game that have some vertical gameplay. So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything. And that with the art and the style of the slab, so now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything, and that with the art and the style of the slab, we could really take advantage of it and create one of the very few zones in the game that have some vertical gameplay. So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything, and that with the art. So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything, and that with the art and the style of the slab, we could really take advantage of it and create one of the very few zones in the game that have some vertical gameplay.
Went the wrong way.
So now we're in the microgen lab, and actually as we get there, there's something different in terms of challenge, because if you have noticed by playing the game until now, most of the challenges are happening on the horizontal plane. And our lead level designer, René Martin Posé, really wanted us to to change the pace a bit and try to go for a little bit more of the vertical plane challenges and everything, and that with the art and the style of the slab, we could really take advantage of it and create one of the very few zones in the game that have some vertical gameplay.
Get him! Move our position!
Someone hiding over there?
Get him!
Motherfucker!
Access granted.
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
So at this point, we're about to create the distraction.
Infamous distraction.
Distraction to get access to the restricted area of Omega Ranch. And I remember that even though what we ended up in the game sounds very simple, it was really, really hard to get there because
It's hard to do.
getting the proper feedback to the player that the scientists were helping you into getting into the restricted zone.
Yeah, because we really wanted to bring that sense that Jensen was working as a team with people, but they were spread out all over the compound, and they were supposed to create things that are supposed to set off alarms, and without like some major explosion, it was really hard to kind of figure out how do we kind of coordinate all that.
And if I remember well, with Etienne, we were talking about an explosion with seeing a wall being destroyed or something
Yes, but that was very complicated because all of the heart had to be redone for after the distraction.
Yeah, that's why we didn't do it, because we didn't have the time with the art. Yes,
I remember that. Yeah, it would have been like making two maps almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, like the result is not too bad, but it's slightly too subtle.
Yeah,
to,
one of the big challenge with the scene was actually that the distraction itself is made by the scientists, which are not located at the same place as the player. So for the player to understand something that is not happening in his field of view, that was really hard. So
yeah, but in the end, hopefully, players got it.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
Someone's here. Keep looking. Over there! Go! Double time!
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
There's a boss fight. I'm all set. I got my 20 of those.
Here is the introduction to the Namir boss fight. Actually, we had to manage to get two versions working because depending in Hengsha 2 if you went for the chip recall or not, whether you lose your augmentations or you keep them for the battle. And actually the idea of losing all our augmentations for that boss fight was quite debated in the team. Like, it was a bold move.
It was
to
a
go.
very bold move to basically strip the player from at least half of his experience in the game and force him to use, to be clever about the weapons, and well, just run around as much as he could to survive, whether to just use a cloak or any augmentations he's accumulated over the playthrough.
And also for you, as you were balancing the experience, the gameplay, it was tough because you had to make it like interesting if you have your augmentations, but if you don't have augmentations, it still need to be playable.
Yeah, well, it was always we knew the idea of the choice and consequence was always there, that if you don't have your augmentations, it was part of the player's choice. I mean, whether you knew it or not, it was still a discussion we had that if he had the augmentations, the combat would be much easier, and that's the point of augmentations. Whereas if you go with the non-augmentation, the challenge is there that you have to sort of survive as a very human being. And that's pretty much what happens depending on the choice you make.
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
Here is the introduction to the Namir boss fight. Actually, we had to manage to get two versions working because depending in Hengsha 2 if you went for the chip recall or not, whether you lose your augmentations or you keep them for the battle. And actually the idea of losing all our augmentations for that boss fight was quite debated in the team. Like, it was a bold move.
It was a very bold move to base.
Here is the introduction to the Namir boss fight. Actually, we had to manage to get two versions working because depending in Hengsha 2 if you went for the chip recall or not, whether you lose your augmentations or you keep them for the battle. And actually the idea of losing all our augmentations for that boss fight was quite debated in the team. Like, it was a bold move.
It was a very bold move to basically strip the player from at least half of his experience in the game and force him to be clever about the weapons and just run around as much as he could to survive, whether they just use a cloak or any augmentations he's accumulated over the playthrough.
And also for you, as you were balancing the experience, the gameplay, it was tough because you had to make it like interesting if you have your augmentations, but if you don't have augmentations, it still need to be playable.
Yeah, well, it was always we knew the idea of the choice and consequence was always there, that if you don't have your augmentations, it was part of the player's choice. I mean, whether you knew it or not, it was still a discussion we had that if he had the augmentations, the combat would be much easier, and that's the point of augmentations. Whereas if you go with the non-augmentation, the challenge is there that you have to sort of survive as a bare human being. That's pretty much what happens depending on the choice you make.
Underestimated you, Jensen. Will you lose your nerve, Jensen, now that the end is near? Finish it.
Not until you tell me where Megan is.
You've lost her, Jensen. Men like us, we never get back the things we love.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this amazing game that is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
If you're just joining us,
if you are just joining us, well, we want to say hi to each and every single one of you. If you've been here for about 40 hours, well, you know who we are. Okay, so this room is pretty interesting because the concept of this room with Namir being kind of like somebody who's got his skin ripped off and all the other statues and everything in it is one of the earliest ideas we've actually had in the project. It goes all the way back to like May or early June 2007. We had the exhibition here in Montreal from the human body thing. What's the name of the artist we used to know back in the days? Anyway, I forgot about him, about his name, that is. But anyway, so we said, one of our concept artists, Thierry, Baron Thierry, designed this guy that was fully augmented, and the augmentations looked like they were muscles, And we said, hey, this is pretty damn cool, let's keep it. Let's design an enemy that's its entire body is like that. It's fully mechanical, only his head remains a human head. And then because of the exhibition in Montreal, we said, hey, what about he's actually kind of camouflaging himself within an exhibition just like that, and let's play with this. And this is one of the ideas that stayed the entire course of the development until where we actually had to produce this. So that's pretty cool.
That was one of the main challenge we had to actually. The first question was how to replace the statue with Namir and to mimic the animations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then what would happen with the statue, and does it come back after, or the holograms, all these crazy things. So that was a bit of a challenge in that aspect.
An interesting little bit of fact: the statues, not Namir, but the other statues, but Namir also. I'll get back to this. They, we had their penises modeled on them, right? Yeah. And we had to take them out. Yeah. Because obviously we're not mature enough, people who play games and whatnot. When we see penises, we oh my god, we might go on a killing spree.
If we offend someone,
we're really sorry. And what's cool about Namir is not that we took it out. It's purposely his penis is not there. He probably removes it before combat or something like that. Yeah.
While talking about removing things, Namir went through a lot of changes as well. We used to have him like jump on the sides of the room. There are big pillars, and he was supposed to jump from one to the other with a sniper rifle and shoot the laser rifle, I think, and shoot you with it. I could never get it to work properly. It was very confusing, and the player could not actually understand what was going on. So we decided to actually have him run around faster, cloak, and jump over the railings. Well, it's not railings, but so that was very interesting as well.
Also, he had kind of a nano whip, like in Johnny Mnemonic, where you could grab Jensen and pull him back towards him, and with your gun, you had the gameplay to try to shoot at it so he could release you. And if not, he was doing a takedown on you.
It's exactly. That was a bit of a punishment, but that was kind of cool. I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's so cool.
Access granted.
Anything right. A laser rifle, huh?
So yeah, here it's one of the two versions of the cutscene where
meeting with Megan Reed.
we meet back with Megan Reed. It depends if you went for the chip recall or not, so it plays out a little bit differently. But that was a very, very difficult cutscene to make because it was at that point with all the twists or the intrigues of the game, of the story were coming together, and now we were going into the final stage of closing the story. And
when you're dealing with the story, it's like everything is coming to a head, and there's a lot of information that is coming together at this point. And when we were first working out the story and working out the blueprint, I kept saying, guys, there's too much information. There's too many story beats that are being revealed in this scene. We're revealing the truth about Meg, and we're revealing the truth about Adam's DNA and how it's been used, and we're ultimately revealing who the true villain is in this piece. And it's an awful lot of to communicate, and I just felt like we need to separate it. We need to have gameplay that separates those points.
And I remember you were the one pushing for it quite a lot, and I still wanted you to pull this off because now we were to invent gameplay that didn't necessarily exist, or we didn't plan for anything, and it would have forced us to do filler stuff just to pace the information a little bit.
Yeah, so it was something, I mean, I have to admit, I was raising my objections from day one. I was raising it in story meetings, I was raising it in blueprint meetings, but ultimately what was coming down was, no, we have to get it all told in this, because we can't stretch the maps, we can't stretch the game.
So from a creative standpoint, you were totally right. That was the wrong approach. But as we had to cut mini maps, and as we had to really close the deal with some of the game aspects and everything, it was the right call to make from a very, I would say, rational standpoint.
And actually it was good we did it that early, because most likely would have had to cut all that gameplay that I thought was needed anyway, and then I would have had to rework the story. But at least this point I knew up front, we got to make the scene work. Somehow we have to make it work, and we did what we could.
Yeah.
You never said anything about this.
I'm going back for the scientists.
No, Adam. I know the complex better than you. I'll find them. There's a hangar bay through there. Get to its control room and retract the roof. Clear a path for us.
Access granted. Access denied.
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
So here we're in what we call the white room. In the game, this was a pretty tricky room to nail down for different reasons, because this represents really well when you want to do something that people have a really hard time envisioning in their heads, where you're like, I want this room white. They're like, okay, you want the walls white? No, I want everything white, as if someone walked in with a paint gun and just like sprayed white over everything. And people just were really reluctant to do it, if you remember, Jeff.
Yeah,
and we were really pressing on, like, no,
because people were saying that it wouldn't look good.
Yeah, a lot of people said it wouldn't look good, and we had to use a few little tricks, like tech tricks that we weren't using in the game at all. And basically, we were just like, we want it, just like figure a way to do it, and it ended up working out really, really well.
This room is gorgeous.
This room is gorgeous. It worked really well with marketing as well as a publicity for the game. And what's a little funny anecdote? One of the marketing artists, when he was like working, on classifying all the screenshots for marketing, he comes up to me and he shows me this room, that the screenshot of that room that I had taken, and he's like, "This room is obviously not finished. There's no textures. All I see is the normal maps." And I'm like, "No, this is it. It's textures." Like, no, I'm like, yeah. If you look at the leather, you can see there's leather texture. If you look everything, the tile look like ceramic, whatever. It's just that all is white. And he's like, okay, what, he's giving me this weird look, goes back to his desk, and I get this little messenger message, and he's like, but seriously, the textures are not there. Like, you thought I was joking, and I'm like, no, this is it.
This is the room.
So this is what the game is in a lot of ways, is just making these weird things that had never been done before.
And what is fun about this room actually really break the pace in the game, because as John covered it very often, we try to be as original as possible, but still we try to stay grounded in this kind of alternate reality. But with this room, we really went the extra mile to really break the expectations and bring it beyond what a player could expect. And definitely it's the kind of room that will stick in your head for a long time.
So, like I was saying before, I always felt there should be gameplay separating that cutscene beats into certain things. And one of the things that I was kind of always thinking we would have here is an opportunity through once Darrow through the signal to actually have to struggle your way through Omega Ranch, through the crazy, so you get that experience of it. And it was kind of in my head how this was all going to play out.
But the
with the non-crazies.
Yeah. But the thing is that I wanted to save those fabulous crazies for the last map as much as possible. They have been hinted in the White Room when we were with Megan, and you see it on television. And we wanted to have a first glimpse in Omega Ranch before heading to Panchea, just to have kind of a foreshadowing, like all the mess they could do. But I don't want it to overstate it. That's why we managed to keep it very, very low profile.
Yeah, and the other struggle that we were having here was how do we get Malik to come back if she's alive, because we really wanted a payoff for that. And it wasn't so much how do we get her to come back and save you, but if she's not alive, how do we get you out of here?
Exactly.
And we had a whole struggle to try and figure out, okay, if Malik is dead, then it's going to have to be Megan and the scientist who save you. And if she's alive, then it'll be her. And how do we play all of that into basically a funnel at the end of this map?
Adam, I'm getting my team out of here. You have to go to Panchea and stop Hugh.
You and I aren't done with this, Megan.
I know how it looks, but you have to stop the broadcast. I think it's causing the new biochips to overstimulate the vagus nerve, creating terrifying hallucinations.
You mean it's driving augmented people insane?
Yes, and it's up to you to stop it. Use the Leo shuttle. It will take you to Panchea. Good luck, Adam.
So like I was saying before, I always felt there should be gameplay separating that cutscene beats into certain things. And one of the things that I was kind of always thinking we would have here is an opportunity through once Darrow through the signal to actually have to struggle your way through Omega Ranch, through the crazy, so you get that experience of it. And it was kind of in my head how this was all going to play out.
But with
the non-crazies.
Yeah. But the thing is that I wanted to save those fabulous crazies for the last map as much as possible. They have been hinted in the White Room when we were with Megan, and you see it on television. And we wanted to have a first glimpse in Omega Ranch before heading to Panchea, just to have kind of a foreshadowing, like all the mess they could do. But I don't want it to overstate it. That's why we managed to keep it very, very low profile.
Yeah, and the other struggle that we were having here was how do we get Malik to come back if she's alive, because we really wanted a payoff for that. And it wasn't so much how do we get her to come back and save you, but if she's not alive, how do we get you out of here?
Automated systems online. Darrow sequence 1, code 1A, preset and ready to engage. Suborbital trajectory plotted. Destination Panchea. Begin countdown, Mr. Darrow.
Begin countdown.
Code 000. Confirm 0. Countdown commencing.
So to continue on the comment of the yellow shuttle and going into space, what was really exciting for me is that I really wanted players to be able to see the Earth and everything. And actually that sequence was supposed to be
slightly playable.
Slightly playable. You were supposed to be in first person in the cockpit and be able to look around through all the windows and see different sections of the Earth and everything. And as we produced a first version of it that was not playable, was just in cutscene, we didn't see the Earth really. and because we have constraint in time and producing it, and I was like, no, the whole point is to really have a glimpse of the Earth. We need to see it and
I'm
everything.
cutting also to say that he's wearing a helmet in the trailer.
Yeah, and now he's reckless.
Yeah.
and finally, like, we managed to show a bit more of the Earth. And now we were closing the deal on the Icarus myth. Like in the actual myth, Icarus falls into the sea, and this is what's happening.
That was the entire idea.
Yeah.
All right. Go now.
Jensen, can you read me?
Barely. I've reached Panchea, Richard. Any word from Sarah for the UN delegates?
Nothing. The installation went into lockdown shortly after Darrow gave his speech. I can't tell if anyone's even alive. And the signal's still broadcasting.
Meaning no one's safe till I get in there and shut it down.
You'll have to disengage the lockdown first. Look for a master control panel at the top of the tower.
Well, this is the arrival, to Panchea, and actually now we start on the platform, but our original intent was to, like you see the shuttle goes into the sea, and we thought that with Jensen we would go on kind of some ice spots on the ocean and just get closer to the facility and climb.
It would have been our jumping puzzle.
Exactly, it would have been awesome. But then we were struggling with time and everything, so we cut it short and we did an ellipse here.
Yeah, and there was actually quite a few ideas for how this should open. At one point, we were even thinking that we wanted to have Megan come to Panchea with you and be in the helicopter, and we would have been able to kind of resolve some of that Megan storyline.
Which we never did.
Which we never ended up doing. We never ended up having her being with you, and we never ended up resolving her storyline in the game. So I forget exactly how it would have worked out if she had come, but I remember several discussions about doing that. So.
Yeah, and then Panchea, visually speaking, not the interior but the exterior, I know, it was just like a fantasy of mine. I've always imagined this big hole in the middle of the ocean, which just kind of looks so weird. And every game I worked on, I always try to like plug it in somewhere, and it would never work out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then suddenly, when we had this idea of going to the Arctic, right? For this, and then we started talking about the ocean. I'm like, this is it, you know. It's just like,
that's my chance.
This is my chance. I can finally have this hole in the ocean, you know.
And it makes sense because we're the idea of the seeding the iron at the bottom of the ocean.
Yes, because that's good. I would have forgotten about that. But that's the idea, was that we first had the idea of the hole, and then it's a cylinder, and then we're like, well, what's its purpose?
Yeah,
and we started we had to justify it, and we started making research, and we found out about these. This kind of the eco-forming, whatever thing that they have of seeding iron in the ocean, so that it would absorb, if I remember properly, the heat of the greenhouse effect.
It'll cause algae to grow at the bottom of the ocean that will then start keeping the oxygen in.
Yes.
And believe it or not, just the other day, I heard a radio report about, not necessarily about, if it's a good idea to seed the
but there was a guy, even back then, it was a guy who had started a company, and his goal, he was buying big boats.
Becoming more and more
but back then it was already a guy that he had like those, he bought a whole bunch of huge ships, and he was like filling them with iron rust to go see the ocean with it. So that was a bit
because I tried to go on the ocean shore with a filter, and I lost patience after 5 minutes.
A filter
to filter the ocean.
Oh. Okay. Bye-bye.
end it there. And we'll come back another time. To do the grand finale of Pangaea on Deus Ex Human Revolution. And I guess I got one long playthrough or two, maybe three, maybe three short ones. And we shall end Human Revolution. This is a great game, bro. I mean, it's got tons and tons of stuff, bro. I mean, so far I'm on what? Part 17, 18, 17, I think it is. Yeah. So we should have at least 20 parts to this. No, at least 18 parts, maybe 20. And we'll do it. We'll finish it. I hope you've had as much fun as I have, you know, because of all the director's commentaries. And it's been very, you know, very informative, at least. If not, it might not have been entertaining, you know, as far as gameplay goes, but informative it has been. So, and it's still quite a bit more to go. I mean, we're like 8/10 of the game finished. We got another 2/10 to go, and we shall see you then. You know, next time.